Want to know the secret of how you are going to manifest everything you want in 2025? Today, we're going to get into it. Hey there, my name is Jen. I'm a mindset coach and manifestation teacher. And today we are going to have a little mini lesson in how to get what you want. Because I know one thing is true. You are sick of the excuses. You are sick of living in dream Tomorrowland where you keep thinking about all of the things that you want in life, like the relationships, the money, etc., but you never feel like you actually get there. You have been playing with manifestation for a while, but for some reason, it just never clicks, especially for the big stuff. This is a big problem. It is a problem that I struggled with for many years and still sometimes struggle with. But that is why I wanted to make this video for you today. It is so important to talk about the real powerful tools in manifestation that not so many other people are talking about. You are definitely not going to read this stuff inside of a book like The Secret. The Secret was great when it came out. It was introducing people to the world of manifestation. But these days, if you are in this world, you are going to need tools that go a little bit deeper and are a little bit stronger. And that is what I'm going to give to you today, my friend. So the one big secret that is going to change everything for you, no matter what you are manifesting, the one thing you need to work on the most is yourself. Your self-concept is your internal idea or program of who you are. And there's two things that we need to address when it comes to your self-concept. We need to think about the self-concept you used to have and the one that is creating those limiting beliefs and those old toxic stories and patterns, because we need to start to release that stuff. And the first step of releasing that stuff is noticing what is there. The second step in building up your new self-concept is to start to plan who you want to be. It is to start to think about the thing that you want to have and then kind of backwards hack your way into the identity beliefs that you need to acquire. A lot of times on here, when I see people talking about self-concept, they're talking about the second part of this process only. And the second part of the process is super important. Of course, it is really powerful for you to think about who you need to be and to start to actively acquire those thoughts and beliefs for yourself. But if you don't do the underlying work first about the old toxic identity beliefs and old limiting beliefs, then you are going to come back to those same things over and over again. And it's going to feel like the universe is working against you, like you keep coming into the same patterns over and over again, and you don't know how to get out of them. The good news is not that you're unlucky. You are not irredeemably broken. You are not so broken that nothing can fix you. The only problem is that right now you have an old program in your mind of who you are and what you are capable of and what you will allow into your life. And that is the part that we need to fix the most. So first off, let's talk about how to find those old self-concept beliefs that are holding you back. This is the part I think that people get stuck on because you probably roll your eyes a little bit and think, I already know the things that are wrong with me and I don't want to think about them anymore. In fact, my inner mean guy or inner mean girl, you know, that negative soundtrack inside of your mind, it is probably acutely aware of your so-called flaws and your failures and all of that stuff. You are probably using that stuff as a negative tool against yourself. This is what so many of us do. We go out into the world, we make mistakes, we have failures like every single human out there. But instead of learning and growing from these things, we think that we should have been able to do this stuff. We think that we should have just been able to handle these emotions, handle these relationships, handle these work problems. And the fact that we didn't do it and the fact that we had relationship failures or whatever the case might be for you, we use that stuff against us. We take these failures and these mistakes and these flaws and we're like, okay, well, this is our fault. It is our fault this relationship failed. It is our fault we didn't know how to handle money. It is our fault that this bad thing happened to us. And that becomes part of your negative identity belief. It is not just a mistake that you made. It is the fact that you have internalized this. That is the problem. Again, we like to ignore that stuff because we think we're thinking about it all of the time anyway. And you might even be rolling your eyes at this work because you think that I'm doing this all the time. I'm already so aware of all of my flaws. The problem here is that you do need this identity work. You know you need this identity work because you are not where you want to be. Your self-concept is not what you want it to be at. And that is part of the reason why you have these cyclical repeating patterns in your life. So the very fact that you are not where you want to be in love, money, success, whatever the goal might be for you, That is literal proof that you need some identity belief work. But here is the problem, right? We think we know what those flaws are. We are using them against us in a toxic way all of the time already. And in turn, we start to make ourselves feel worse and worse. We get on this escalator of crappy thoughts, right? Something bad happens, we make that into an identity belief, we blame ourselves, and then we just keep rotating around this negativity spiral, making ourselves feel worse and worse and worse over time. The ground shifting technique that I want you to use to start to change this game for once and for all is to not take these things personally. You are a human being, and you are a human being in a stage of growth. You will be in a stage of growth from the moment you were born until the moment that you die. We are always going through new phases of life. We are learning new things. We are having new relationships, and we should be constantly growing. And the thing that goes along with growing is making mistakes and having some failures along the way, because you just don't know what you don't know. Instead of coming to our life with a sense of, I'm so ashamed, look at all this terrible stuff that I did, we need to start to deeply accept ourselves and to deeply accept who we are as flawed humans. You can, in fact, lose weight. If you are messy, if you are lazy, if you didn't read 52 books like you said you were going to last year, you are allowed to have successful relationships, even if you had one that just blew up in a very dramatic fashion. You are allowed to have success in your business. You are allowed to have all of these things, even though you had that breakup, you had that business failure, you had those other things that you were holding on to your mind and holding against you. The key to moving past those things in your past is not to hold them over your head and to bring them up as reasons why you are such a terrible or stupid or flawed human being. The way that we get through this is to learn how to deeply accept that stuff. Can you look in the mirror and be like, that is okay? This money mistake that I made, I invested in the wrong person and I lost a bunch of money. It is okay that I did that. I had this relationship and it turned out to be really unhealthy. Can you look in the mirror and be like, it is okay that that happened to me? It is okay that I trusted this person and it ended up not working out the way that I wanted it to. We are so deeply afraid to look at these patterns because we don't want to make ourselves feel worse because of these failures. That is the only way we look at these failures and flaws and mistakes, is with a bad lens. It's with a lens of blaming ourselves. But what if we look at this with a growth lens? What if we know, in fact, you should know, that we are always going to be growing and making mistakes and failing, and that's just normal. For example, many of the top entrepreneurs in the world, like the people that actually really started from scratch, not the people that were born into billions of dollars, they had many business failures along the way. Those business failures, like I'm sure they did not feel great at the time, but they did not stop this person's progress. They did not stop this person from trying to achieve something else. And I bet if you asked the people that had these experiences, they probably learned something very important from every single one. Could they have gone from the beginner with no knowledge to the person with a successful business in one step? Probably not. So you have to look at it like that. Like these things that you are holding against you, what if you reframe that as this was just something that was meant to happen? Because now I know. Now I know more about business. Now I know more about relationships. Now I know more about who I am as a person. And next time I will not take this kind of behavior. I will not trust this kind of person. I will not do this kind of thing. Again, no one wants to look there because no one wants to address this stuff. We all just feel so terrible about it. And we live in this world where we go on social media and we only see people's highlight reels. We forget that everybody else is going through the same thing, similar things. We are all messing up. We are all learning and growing all at the same time. You tell yourself everyone else has it figured out, but that is absolutely not the case. So I dare you to ask yourself this right now. What is that one thing? What are maybe 2 limiting beliefs or 2 failures or 2 flaws that you are running away from, that if you just looked into yourself and you could accept these parts of yourself, it would not only create so much more inner peace inside, but allowing yourself to feel whatever feeling is hiding there. allowing yourself to feel that shame or feel that sense of loss. That is the thing that you have really been hiding from. Humans are motivated by emotion, even though we don't admit it, even though we pretend we do everything in a logical manner. But really, when you are trying to avoid looking at something, you are actually trying to avoid a feeling. For most of us, this feeling is shame. But if you lean in and embrace that just for a moment and start to make friends with it and start to make peace with it, you might find that you stop doing certain other behaviors that are also getting in your way. We start to overcompensate for this darkness by trying harder, by ignoring, by buffering, which is like drinking too much, watching too much TV, gambling too much, whatever. There are so many things we do in this life just to run away from the truth of who you are. And nobody teaches you how to sit there with the darkness, with the negativity, with those flaws, and with that shame. But if you can learn how to do that, that is going to set you free for the next part of this equation. Okay, so now we've begun to make peace with our darkness, with our shadow, with our negative identity beliefs, and with our limiting beliefs. So the next part of this equation, like I said, is to learn how to design who you want to be next. I talk about this all the time, but I want you to take this very seriously today. I want you to grab a piece of paper and I want you to think about that one goal, whether that's money, love, success, whatever. And now I want you to think about the kind of person you would be if you had this thing already. If you already had the mansion, if you already had the business, if you already had so many followers on Instagram, or whatever the goal is for you, who would you be? I want you to think about more than just the physical stuff. I want you to think about the kind of thoughts and beliefs this person has. Like when you get up in the morning, are you feeling powerful? Are you feeling excited, energized? Are you feeling peaceful and calm? What are those things? And just start to jot them down, thinking about the kinds of feelings you will have, thinking about the kinds of self-belief that you will have. And from here, I want you to notice the parts that are different than where you are right now. For example, maybe you wake up every morning and think, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this. And I need to start doing this other thing. And I feel so silly. I feel so strange. I feel so scattered. I feel so stupid. I feel so whatever. We're going to notice that the person in the future doesn't have that soundtrack. We're going to notice that the person in the future has a very strong self-concepts around their confidence, around their inner peace. So I want you to also notice like this future version of yourself. What are they doing? How are they acting? Where are they? Take down as many notes as you can about who this person is. And I want you to start to look at this list that you are creating here like a to-do list. Like you are waking up and feeling confident. You are feeling powerful. You are writing in your journal at a cute cafe every day. You are talking to your amazing partner. So how can you start to do that right now? If you want to wake up and feel confident tomorrow, what is one belief that you have to create that will make that happen? What is one thing that you need to let go of that can make that happen? Maybe you have a 9-to-5 job right now, but you are envisioning yourself working at a cute cafe in the future. Maybe you make time during your lunch break to actually take your laptop or take a notepad to the cafe, put yourself in that environment, even just for 30 minutes. Just that little bit of time is connecting you from now to you where you want to go. And it looks silly on the surface, like 30 minutes in a cafe, like what difference is that going to make to my long-term results? But you would be surprised at what a difference changing your space can make. I'm a huge, huge believer in the power of your space. I actually wrote a whole book on this. And if you've been following me for a long time, you've heard me talk about this many times before. But space, but what I mean by that is the area where you are putting your physical self consciously, that can have such a powerful effect on who you think you are. So try to put yourself in a space that will make you feel like that future self person. Maybe you are trying to envision yourself in a relationship in the future. And in this vision of yourself in the future, you are imagining yourself coming home and having this cute conversation with your amazing, supportive, loving partner. And right now, there is no amazing, loving, supporting partner in your house. But what if you started to do that to yourself when you came home? So you come home from work tonight and you start to have that conversation with yourself out loud if you can. If you live by yourself and no one can hear you. Maybe you don't want to do this and scare your roommates, but you can start to have that conversation, literally pretending someone else is there. Like, hey, honey, how was your day? Oh, that's so nice. What do you want for dinner? Blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever that conversation looks like in your mind, you can start to actually speak those words into existence and start to act like that person is there. And yeah, it looks a little bit insane on the outside, but what you are doing is proving to your mind that this is who you want to be and this is the life that you want to have. And you are making that normal. You are making the desires and the vision you have for your future part of your self-concept. The only way we do that is through creating new beliefs, is by creating new self-thoughts and words, which you can do that when you're talking out loud very easily. And it is by creating new actions, new habits, going to that cafe, doing those things that you see in that vision that you are not doing right now. Self-concept work is really not as hard as you think it is. The biggest problem is getting you to take action on it, because not many people will think this is important. People will roll their eyes and think that, yeah, I'm already doing that. But the proof is in the pudding, my friend. If you are not taking the actions, if you are not putting yourself in new situations to consciously rewire your brain, if you are not consciously creating new words, new thoughts, new patterns, new habits about who you want to be, then you are not creating that future person self. You have the power, and you have always had the power to create exactly the life that you want. The problem is you need to motivate yourself to do these little tiny steps, even when they look crazy, even when it looks like what's the point of me doing this? It's not actually making a difference. I assure you, my friend, it is making a huge difference. So I've given you the two parts of this formula: going in with love and accepting and noticing those limiting beliefs and those old patterns and toxic storylines, and just letting yourself sit there and feel them. Just let yourself sit there and feel them. And we're not even going to worry about all of the rest of the healing tools that I have to help you through this process. Just sitting with them, feeling into them, noticing them, accepting them, and breathing into them. That's all you got to do for the first part of this process. The second part of this process is you have to do the active stuff. You have to actively start to put yourself in a new dynamic, to actively think of yourself in a new way, to have new positive thoughts when you wake up in the morning, for example, to start taking on new positive actions that support your goals. You can do this in any way that you want to, because I don't know exactly what you are manifesting, so you need to figure it out for yourself. But I promise you, no matter what it is that you are going after in your life, there's something you can do right now, today, that is going to help you to get there. Manifestation seems like this big, magical, mystical thing, but in reality, it is about these little tiny tweaks that you can make at any time, anywhere. But it really is not as difficult as you're telling yourself. You just have to challenge yourself to show up and actually do the work. And I really hope that this video today has inspired you to do that. So thank you so much for watching this with me today. If you want to learn more about me, you can come on over and check out my free Notion manifestation planner. If you are a digital girly or guy and you want to start manifesting and putting all your goals in this really great organized template, then you want to come and grab this. It's 100% for free. If you want to check that out, just hit the link below and I will send it to you right away. If you like this video, give me a like, give me a 5-star if you are on Spotify. Happy manifesting, my friend. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.